Hello and welcome to today's Stocks and Crypto TA Charts live stream. Today is May 5th. It's May 1st, 5/1/2022. Just after 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, it's May 1st today, Sunday, here in the USA. And we're going to go ahead and look at stock charts and crypto charts. We are still in stock market earnings season right now. And we have companies such as Clorox, AMD, Pfizer, StarBucks, eBay, Royal Caribbean Group, Virgin Galactic Holdings, Zillow, Wayfair, just to name a few. So we just completed last week big tech earnings, and the week before that financial bank company earnings. So those are kind of our two big category sectors for earnings, and you see the market reaction here. Now let's get into the charts. Let's look at SPY. What's going on here? This is why I draw multiple support and resistance on the chart. Okay, because if I'm just looking, if I don't draw anything, the chart looks almost random or not easy to interpret. But then once I put up the support and resistance, I knew this is the zone, right? That 429 is our resistance. Our support was 414. If we lose that support, probably going down to 410. If we lose 410, then going down to 400. Or possibly even 404. Right? Not a surprise. Because if we look at the day chart, the daily chart, we're in a daily downtrend right now. It's textbook daily downtrend. The only issue was last week we were at a support level, but it was dependent on earnings. And big tech earnings were essentially mostly bad, right? It's not like every big tech company, I'm talking about FANG stocks, were good. More than half of them were bad or had some kind of negative headline about it. So for example, Apple was saying in their earnings last week that because of the China Shanghai lockdowns with COVID right now, that next quarter they could have up to a $8 billion loss. So that's bearish. Apple got shorted. I even shorted Apple on Friday. Then Amazon, their operating expenses were kind of too high. And issues with the Rivian investment, and that's also bearish, right, for Amazon as well. Netflix, we all know that they lost 200,000 subscribers, bearish. Google did not have as good ad revenue and YouTube revenue, bearish, right? So that's why earnings moves the market. So we cannot, I cannot underestimate that and try to explain that to people. You can just see it on the charts for yourself. Also, this Federal Reserve policy changes. The big Federal Reserve meeting is this Wednesday morning. There's going to be a FOMC press conference, and the federal funds rate, the interest rate number will be released during and after the conference, right? So Wednesday is going to be a huge day for Federal Reserve policy changes, although he did, Chairman Jerome Powell did mention probably a 50 basis point increase in rates for May, and we are in May right now. So just keep that in mind. Let's check just really quick. We'll check long-term charts because I know some people are day traders, swing traders, and investors. But we just checked this out, right? On a monthly chart, we have a head and shoulders. Let me just erase everything for now. On a monthly chart, wait, what is this? 390. Okay, so on a monthly chart, we have our head and shoulders, right? If you kind of look at it from the bottom of the pandemic to the top, I'm going to call this the general top of the pandemic rally in the stock market. This is head and shoulders, textbook. How did I know this was going to happen? Well, study the charts, know the pattern, find it. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline was 436 and 426. If we lose those, we're going down up to -9 to -10%. That's why I have a $390 target down here. If the head and shoulder pattern completes. So April, we had quite a bearish reaction in April. So what remains to be seen is, will we have weekly, find our weekly lower low. Let me erase this blue, because now you see the pattern. Even on a weekly chart, you can still see it, the head and shoulders, at least the double top, right? So you can see here that, are we going to make our lower low in the weekly? That's why somewhere here in the $400 range, 400 to upper 390s, is we're probably going to find our lower low before we bounce. We could even hit the perfect target of 390 and then bounce up to 412 or something like that. So that's just one weekly setup I'm watching out for. But right now, looking at all of April, basically 3 to 4 weeks in a row of bearish reaction and basically short-term flash crash, is now I'm looking for, okay, can any earnings at all this week and the next week attempt to save the market, although these companies reporting are much, much smaller. But, you know, markets typically, unless we're talking about like recession, it typically doesn't go down forever. It's going to find a bottom someday. But on a weekly chart, it is not showing yet, right? If we're talking about at least, you know, if we take the COVID of March 2020, which it feels like a little bit right now, that was extreme. But we did have a large, if we look at here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red candles with gaps down. And then finally, there's a large bullish engulfing candle right here, the green candle. And then we had the trend change. And it didn't go lower than that. So I'm kind of looking for the same or similar type of pattern here. We kind of got it in January, February 22, and then right here on March 14. That's what I'm talking about. But the rally did not last long. It was about 2 weeks. So I'm kind of anticipating we might get something like that again, where the exact bottom is going to be is up to the market and the government, basically, and traders to try to establish the support. But this one red candle is not enough for a weekly or even a monthly, right? If we look at monthly support, and why am I talking about this so much is because if a trader spends a lot of time and understands what the S&P 500 actually is, the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ and total market cap for crypto and Bitcoin, you could get ahead of a lot of people in terms of the direction of the market, and we're not reacting so much emotionally to the charts or to the market or to the news. This was foreseeable for months, probably for 6 months. This was developing, right? So that's why I always like to start on the big long-term charts. I don't always do it on this live stream because it takes too much time, but I like to explain it sometimes. On my own personal time, I spend quite a bit of time on these long-term charts. So since we lost the 236 support level, which has been tested 3-4 months in a row, the next large level down on a monthly chart, we're talking years, you know, it's months and years, would be 388, right? 360 or 332, or the previous pandemic high, 312. It's quite a long ways down, which is why I am not going to call it any type of bottom at all until I see huge pattern, like a double bottom or an upside down head and shoulders like we saw here on this tradable bottom on March 14th or on September or October 2021, right? That's something I'm looking for. We've had a lot of double tops. We've had a lot of head and shoulders, which are bearish, right? We tested the support line. We bounced off it once, but then earnings brought us down. So I'm looking for potentially more downside continuation this week and possibly even next week with some potential bullish earnings per company. which is usually company dependent. Okay, so I'm just gonna give people the big picture here, right? Day traders, advanced traders, experienced traders likely have their own strategies and setups for day trading. All I'm gonna call out right now is, might have to go to futures to do this. It's a little too early to be calling futures right now because the Asian market session, Australian market session is not even awake right now. Only basically US is awake for the most part. So we did get this 4-hour rejection to the downside right at the support level 41.38 on this S&P 500 mini future chart. The 15-minute and the 1 hour is oversold, so it is possible we could end the 5-minute as well. So at least overnight, this might not even apply to the USA session. It could be the Asia and the European session, is that we could bounce up. It's that story that happens, like it's been happening for 2 weeks, where we crash in the USA session, and then in the Asia and European session we bounce, but then it's usually some kind of lower high, right? And then the USA session continues its downtrend. So that's been the play for a week or two now, but who knows? Someday that's going to change, and then we're going to have a trend, big trend change eventually. But that's something, at least at this point in time, for Asian and European futures, I'm expecting some kind of bounce overnight. And then as we get closer to market open tomorrow morning at about 9 a.m. Eastern or 9:30 right at market open, you could see that bearish pullback with a little bit of bullish bounce. That's been happening. Okay, let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ, keep in mind that on our daily chart, we do have daily death crosses. I like to call it double death cross because you have that 50 EMA that's been under the 200 EMA. Then you also have the 100 EMA that just down crossed last week. So if that's not reason enough to call some kind of signal, because that has not happened actually on the NASDAQ on EMAs for 3 years, it's significant. And this is what kind of separates this basic information, but it's essential, separates, in my opinion, beginners from intermediate versus advanced versus professional, right? Just knowing something simple like that, like what is a moving average, what is a moving average cross, what does that even mean? It's all, you can find that education on TradingView and Google and YouTube. But in the short term, it signals a potential bearish trend change, potential, keyword. So on the monthly, is a little hard to see, but on the monthly, there was, if you use other indicators, there was some bearish loss. And then you do see another type of head and shoulders bearish reaction price pattern right here with the neckline. So let's measure that. 15% to downside if the pattern is going to complete. That would take us down to 293. That's actually not that far down, but in the index, it's incredibly large volatility, -6%. News would be panicking about that. All right, but on the weekly, we could also see the head and shoulders forming. It's not a perfect one, but the general psychology was there. Once we set this lower high, it's all downhill, and the bears like to take over with bearish events. So again, we just lost the support of 318, which is now our resistance. And 4 hours not extremely oversold, so I would be careful, swing traders. That's why I'm not really talking about these swing trading setups all the time right now, is because when things are bearish, being a long is not fun. It's not good actually to be a bull during a bear market, because every trade setup somebody tries to take will probably lose. That's why right now I'm in bearish mode right now, because the whole market is going down. That's why almost every single bearish trade I've made this month has been successful. I've been basically not trying to toot my own horn here, but just transparency is I've had 11 out of 11 profitable days when I'm in the market. So basically 100% profitability this month, which, because I understand technical analysis and I understand, okay, if it's downtrend, there's overwhelmingly high chance it's going to go down. I was careful of earnings though. I didn't hold through earnings. Maybe you've heard me say that many times. I don't hold through earnings, but I play after earnings because I like to see what the big money players are going to do. And it was a great month. Unfortunately, it's on the bearish side. That's, you know, not the greatest stance in the perspective in the world, but you know, if we're just talking about business and finance trading, it's just business as usual. So what I'm looking for though is this 1 hour, 15 minute, again, the same kind of thinking applies. Like this is what I'm saying is you can kind of see it here. Let me go ahead and pinpoint this. So in the USA, this day might not be good. So right here on from the pink to the pink, right? We hit some kind of top. If we do rally, then post market, this is still USA session. We're shorting it down, right? Bears are overwhelmingly happy right now with their setups. But then in some of these European sessions early morning, see you get the bounce up, but it's still making a lower high. And then when the USA market opens, sometimes the play is, yes, you get a bullish reaction to the upside, but then you also crash, right? On the bearish earnings reaction. It's not just technical. So right now I've been reading earnings reports, keeping my eyes, one of my eyes and my ears, so to speak, open to the news. What's going on with these companies, the big companies that move the market? That's going to affect Bitcoin as well. So even if you're trading crypto, it pays to pay attention to the stock market and understand it as well. Because from you know, Bitcoin and crypto has, yes, it has $1 trillion market cap, just like under 2 trillion, but still, you know, some of these companies are $1 trillion market cap companies, just as big as Bitcoin. And we have to realize that the stock market came before crypto. It existed before. So it's just something to watch out for is, again, we might get that bounce up at the Asia European session and then possibly bearish reaction. Monday might be a little more muted though, because there's not many big companies reporting earnings on Monday. Wednesday is going to be a bigger day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, with a little bit of Friday action. And again, keep in mind it's a fresh month, so big hedge funds and institutions, they're going to be opening up some new plays, new options, right? There's just a lot going on in the market if you understand the market. So tech, you know, tech is usually thought of as growth. So when the economy is quote unquote stagflating, inflation is stagnation, first things to sell off are growth stocks. So you see some smaller industries and sectors, such like the marijuana sector, the MJ sector, or meme stocks, and then tech stocks. They've all been selling off for several months, right? So if you're a bear, it's kind of easier setups right now. But bears have been waiting for 2 years for this, basically, literally 2 years straight, and now they get their reward for the past 6 months. Right, so there's a saying in Wall Street that a trader or investor is either a bull, a bear, or a pig. A pig means they can't make a decision, can't move. So you want to, a trader wants to, you need to, or not you, but a trader needs to figure out, are they a bull or bear, and then what is the market doing? Because just because I want the market to go up, the market doesn't care about me. My opinion. The market is the market. So 5 minute 15, just watch out for this bounce. Okay, move on. I'm sprinkling in a lot of education and quotes here because the TA that I'm teaching, the support resistance trend lines, you know, adding in some fundamental news, critical thinking, that applies to cryptocurrency as well. So and Forex as well. It's not just talking about stocks. Right, because TA, technical analysis, is a skill. It's a tool that can be applied to different asset classes and time frames. All right, so let's look at monthly on this Dow Jones. And again, you could just kind of see this topping out pattern. You could just see it, just simple line chart. You can even turn the volume off. Just what is this, right? What am I looking at here? With the pandemic low to our pandemic high, we did have our period of growth and then went sideways for an entire year. That is not a good sign, right? If this was Bitcoin, if this is crypto, I would sell right here, right? I'm just saying, if this was like some kind of crypto chart, altcoin, this exactly the time to sell. You know, hodl through this, right? So that's just something I want to point out to people. It's not it could be a head and shoulders, the little double head on the top, but still, you could still measure it, which is good habit. Head, neckline, what is this? Measure move. 7% to the downside, which would be approximately 314. If it goes double the target, this applies to all three indexes. If it goes double the target, goes down to this support level, 289, which corresponds with this little inflection price point. Definitely correct. Okay, so on our weekly, you can see it a little better, at least the double top right here. Okay, we lost that. Now, the weekly, this is what I'm saying. I'm watching out for just in case, there's some kind of potential short squeeze or the FOMC says something different than expected on Wednesday, we could have a potential double bottom on our weekly, right? I'm talking about this zone, which I'll highlight here in the pink for today, is in this zone, right? I was talking about last week. Well, the bull case, if somebody's still bullish, is there could be a potential upside down inverse head and shoulders, which would be good for the market. But that would just bring us back to at least about 350, this neckline here. If it's extremely good, we'll test all-time highs again, 367. But that's the bullish outlook. If bearish earnings, if earnings are bad, FOMC still is going to raise interest rates and to deal with inflation, then we're looking at the potential lower low, which I just marked on the chart. That's something we want to watch out for. I always have two perspectives in my head. It's like a scale going on of, is it a little bit more bearish or is it a little bit more neutral or is it a little bit more bullish right now? What's going on? So it's obviously more bearish right now in the market condition. Dow Jones DIA did not death cross just yet, but it's very close to doing so. If we continue to be bearish for a couple more months, I mean, we're just going down. The price. So again, we have our 4-hour death cross approaching that pink support range. Same logic applies, is there could be a bounce overnight. So just watch out for that. All right. Now you might be thinking, well, if the TA is the same for all three of these, why do we need to do all three of these? Well, there's different companies inside each sector. ETF, I'm saying. All right, let's go ahead and move along here. Let me just check the chat. Okay, it's a couple people here. All right, no questions. All right, so let's just go down, look at some of these earnings. I'm still going to do last week's. We'll take a look at some of last week's movers just to take a look here. So Google, didn't have the greatest earnings just on these EPS numbers and the revenue numbers, plus their YouTube ad revenue. So again, it's kind of like AMD. Once we lost this, I drew the wedge. I think I drew this like 2 weeks ago, right? So I drew the wedge and I said, okay, if we lose this, then where are the downside targets? It's right here, the blue. We perfectly hit that number exactly on the dot, 2274. If it continues to have an extreme bearish reaction, could test all the way down to 2000. How did I find that? You measure this thing. The structure, you find a structure. I like to call it price structure. Draw it, measure it, find the measure moves to the bottom and the top. Right? So if this is going to go bullish for whatever reason, let's say, okay, if we have some kind of oversold bounce on this, which 1 hour and 1 hour, 4 hour, it's not oversold. So I'm not expecting an oversold bounce on Google. There could be a short-term bounce like in this 5-minute 15 tomorrow, but the daily is not even extreme oversold like it was here on January 25th. That's why we use TA and have some kind of reference point in the past to see how low is it going to go, or at least are we holding support? It's not doing either of those yet. So that's why I'm not giving a lot of bullish swing trading setups right now. Not yet. That will come again when I find a market bottom relative, right? I did try to give people some 1 hour, 4 hour setups, but you know, earnings and fundamental news overrides technical charts. I have told people that many times. So play a little differently for swing trading investing. Wait for some kind of big signal, double bottom, upside down head and shoulders, or just a support consolidation would be beautiful, right? But the weekly is not even oversold yet, so it's not even, if it's going to be 2020, I want its weekly almost oversold like it was on March 2016. I remember that day, March 16, and then combined with some kind of Federal Reserve change that will really change things up for me. Alrighty. So if it's going to be bullish though, it could bounce. I want to make sure I give people the bullish target as well. If it bounces, could bounce up to 2417 or 2500, right? Retest this little roof ceiling here. All right, let's look at the next one. We'll look at Microsoft. Microsoft is still currently holding. It's just like AMD chart before, like 2 weeks ago, is that Microsoft earnings not so bad. So it's holding, but still the bearish reaction weekly, not extremely oversold. But see, Microsoft, what is this right here? That's not good, right? A giant weekly potential head and shoulders type of structure, not good. If that breaks extreme bear, that'd be negative 20% downside. That'd be 235. So again, this is how we're getting ahead of the market and understanding that, okay, if it breaks bear, it's going way down, right? So we don't have to panic like the rest of the world when it happens and be confused, because we see it here already that this could happen in 6 months from now if we have an extreme bearish reaction. But the bullish case on the other side is, okay, if this purple line happens to hold for whatever reason, for technical and fundamental, then we could easily bounce up to $300 or 3 or 8. Extreme bullish case tests all-time high of 350, right? So we have this in our mind as well, these targets. Just want to keep that in mind for reference. Look at Apple. What's going on here? So Apple, if we leave this trend line here, this might be from a regular chart. Yep. Erase some of my trading that I was doing on Friday. You can see here already in this price structure of the yellow line, at least the bottom trend line for the past year was broken and tested to the downside multiple times. We had the resistance up here. We had the support on this downside. And then once we really lost the trend line at 165, that's when bears attack, just like as I did with the trade. So what we're kind of looking for, if we're looking for a bullish bounce, that's going to be, again, Apple, even though their EPS revenue is good, basically the guidance was bad for the next 3 months, the forecast. What I'm staring at is what I said in my Discord is, well, maybe there is going to be a potential bounce up, just a little short-term short squeeze potential opportunity if this 4-hour inverse head and shoulders actually breaks bear tomorrow. That's something, even sometimes it overrides the RSI, because not everyone uses RSI when they're trading or investing, right? So this is one potential bullish pattern I'm actually watching very closely and seeing if this is going to break bull or not. This is why I keep looking at the charts. But if it breaks bear, fine, that's fine. 156 downside target. 150 is our 2 downside targets. But if it breaks bull tomorrow, 163 bounce, maybe even 170 for a little short squeeze. Could draw this trend line on the top side. And once that trend line, it's our resistance as well, 165, 161. I'm looking at that. It's very suspicious. Into the Friday close, I wrote that in my Discord right at 6 o'clock in the morning, somewhere around there, saying, watch out for this. But if it breaks bear, let's see if this right shoulder is going to hold. If not, it's going to go more downside continuation, because that's the trend. Again, our 1 hour, it's not really oversold. So if this is going to be a bounce, and it's going to be more of like a little short squeeze play, little day traders try to trigger it on this coming week. See if it's going to happen or not. Next, Amazon. So I'm looking at last week's earnings, but still, again, the surprise was pretty bad. Again, the revamp investment really weighed things down. But if you look at a monthly chart, I mean, you can just erase everything and just say, even if you don't use any indicators at all, right? This is that parabola setup that right here. The parabola setup is, this is more advanced though. I don't really recommend beginners to try to draw parabolas because you need to be able to draw trend lines first, like a trend line, like a beginner trader would need to be able to draw regular trend lines first. So I should probably show that. These like extended. Okay, even here, even if you draw it this way, still we knew when the price is floating up in the air, as I like to speak. You know, rewind a couple months ago, this was all black empty space right here. So, and if it's consolidating like that, this is why I kept saying to people, watch out for the support breakdowns, watch out for the support. We had the inflection point and broke down and went straight past down here on earnings. That's why that happened. This is bad. This is like a bar pattern, triple top. My Solana alert's going crazy. But this thing is not good. This is very not good. This is a distribution. This is professional selling. Get out of the market. That's what they're doing. Also, if you're more advanced, like to draw something a little more interesting, is there's the more aggressive curve support that once that got lost and retested and broke it to the downside, then you know we're in big trouble. A la Netflix. Study Netflix and you'll know what I mean. All right, so next one. And again, why am I spending so much time on this? Because everything that we're talking about here on support, resistance, trend line, you know, longer term charts, oscillators, moving averages, you just apply that directly to whatever you're trading, right? It still works if we do it correctly. So we're talking about stocks, crypto, Forex, international stocks. It all works. Not 100% of the time though. Why did I have such a great month? Why was I so successful at trading? Well, because I've been in this market for years, and we had 2 years of pandemic-based stock trading and crypto trading. So, you know, if you've been through it for 2 years straight, kind of have more experience, right? And what's the interpretation of what news do I need to look at? What do I need to think about, and not just guess? And then I am doing my own. Basically, I'm doing my own private work, and then just letting the setups play out with less emotion. So it's basically knowledge and experience. This is not the first time I'm doing this, basically. So our weekly, okay, hitting this 200 EMA and the downtrend is underway. Put on a log chart, I mean, this Amazon, just amazing growth. But again, once you could draw a trend line as well, and once that's broken, I mean, this is a not good sign. Also, when Jeff Bezos left the company as CEO, that's what kind of stalled the momentum here. So actually, what I wanted to do is just give some COVID-based Fibonacci. I'm just going to erase this. This is probably obsolete by now. The old alerts just saying that the Solana was losing that support level. Okay, so just draw some Fibonacci, you get some of this going on, right? It's in the 618 zone. That's why I'm saying there could be a short-term bounce on some of these tech companies for aggressive day traders. That's why it's getting suspicious. So where's our support level? Right here at 2444, and then if we lose that, 2300, 2100. But if we bounce up, could bounce to 2642, 2757, maybe even 3000, right? And this support level was lost, so okay, probably going to retest at 2733 if it's a bullish reaction on Amazon. I'm going to do one more and we'll move on. I'm going to do Facebook just because I'm like to do some of the, I'm not even going to do Netflix, but Netflix, I mean, I'll do large support levels. Let's see. Let's do a big Fibonacci from here to here, right? So we're hitting that 786 level. If you lose this, then it's 168, downside 151, the big targets. 168, 151. If it bounces up, resistance at 203 and 226, and there's that gap right here at resistance 247. So just watch for that. But Netflix, I mean, there is some serious bullish momentum forming, It is weekly oversold, but it's the only one, right? It's not like the entire market is like this right now. So that's why somebody could play Netflix, but again, is the 15-minute and the 1 hour oversold? No, not really, but oversold is not really working on earnings right now because it crashed down anyways. So there's just a lot of bearish momentum here. Trying to long Netflix right now is very risky, but it could bounce for very aggressive people. The timing that it's going to come down to skill and experience. Take a quick look at Facebook. Facebook, just get this what I like to call a pandemic Fibonacci levels, just to get some visual support and resistance all time from low to high. Right here, Facebook, there was that potential W double bottom that I was saying, at least the bullish momentum that was forming on the day chart. But this is basically an earnings play. Again, the revenue was not so great, but they did have the subscriber growth, which actually was a little bit of a surprise because Facebook, Meta, were given all their it hasn't been the easiest 2 years for Facebook, Meta platforms, but the fact that people are going, there was actual growth was very interesting. And whether that's international or domestic growth is interesting, to say the least, right? So that's what I'm saying is you could have a bunch of bad earnings, but a couple of these companies might have these bullish reactions. Like I'm curious about AMD, Starbucks, kind of those things. That what have people been buying for the past 3 months? That's what I'm kind of thinking about, interested in. Okay, it's Sunday, so I'm going to go a little bit longer today. Let's look at AMD chart. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. They build CPUs and GPUs if you're a PC user. Also, if you have some older Macintosh computers, right? There's some Intel chips in there. But again, what is this on the daily? This right here, if you just kind of zoom out for a second and then we look at where we are right now, well, head and shoulders. Bearish. The question is how far down? Because once we lost the neckline of $100, which I did write in my profile setup saying, okay, so sometimes, so like right here, sometimes it fails, but it was something like the 5th time. So, okay, I was expecting it to go down and it did go down. And it hit my target of $85 multiple times, like at least 2 times. The first target, 85, the second target was 75, 65. That could take months to play out. But again, you see this, if this is just going to be pure technical, if AMD has bad earnings on Tuesday, I believe, on Tuesday afternoon, then this head and shoulders pattern is really going to come true. So immediately, what am I staring at? Let's get some Fibonacci levels right above the 0.88. Might have to bring this down to a pandemic low so we get some real numbers. 618. Again, that's why I felt it in the market just on experience. Like, wait a second, everything's at the 618 Fibonacci. So if it's going to bounce, it's going to be somewhere in this zone. It would be interesting if there's going to be a short-term day trade bounce, because if we have our bearish downtrend, low, high, low, high, low, or low, lower, low, and then maybe a lower high bounce back up to here. But sometimes it doesn't happen and you go straight down to $72 or the 786 levels here at $65. That's why my $75, $65 target still exists. I might open another short position. It just depends on what happens with the earnings, but I'm not going to hold my short through the earnings. I don't do that. Just a personal rule for myself. So I already closed my position out at 85. That's a good short. Okay, so hopefully I gave the bearish targets down here, and let's talk about the bullish targets. That could be somewhere about $95 or at least $100. That's the temporary ceiling, so just watch out for that. Again, we're at the 618 on this day chart in the daily death cross with a little bit of momentum building. Is it extremely oversold? No, it is not. So just watch out for that. It is 15-minute oversold. So again, the day traders might try to, like on a 1 minute, 5 minute, if we just isolate this chart, okay, so 5 minute traders could at 9:30 a.m. on Monday try to pull this thing down, bear break down, then try to do this, right? It could happen, right? Get smash it down, bearish reaction to a bullish reaction is possible, right? That's why. So if we study QQQ NASDAQ, then the AMD chart is very similar. Now it's the earnings factor. So for me, like I know some of the AMD products, so I'm actually interested in AMD earnings. Somebody has some kind of message. Okay. Already looked at the Microsoft chart. I'm giving bigger time frame analysis. All right, Pfizer. Let's look at Pfizer. And again, if somebody's in here, just go ahead and type your comment on the public. I'm publicly streaming live stream right now, so it could be YouTube comment live, Twitch comment live, or TradingView comment live, so that everybody can see. That would be appreciated. Because when I'm live streaming, I'm not really looking at my DMs. Okay, so Pfizer. Let's. I do appreciate the technical insight, though. Pfizer. Let's take a look at this again. Pfizer is one of our pandemic vaccines, right? So Pfizer important. Let's actually check Moderna. When's Moderna? Moderna also. I should put this on the list, right? Moderna is also. What about Johnson & Johnson? That's not for. They already reported. So then let's look at Pfizer and Moderna as well, right? On a monthly, okay. Could be sitting on monthly lower or high. Weekly double top, right? That's why we're going down. Again, we have this trend line right here that we just lost. You could test that into the daily. So again, these Pfizer and Moderna stocks, I mean, Moderna got shorted down heavily from $400 down. But at the same time, there's a correlation that whenever COVID cases spike up, usually the vaccine stocks have some kind of reaction to it, right? So that's what I'm expecting is COVID cases are starting to rise in the USA, but the hospitalizations and possibly the deaths it's not as extreme as a couple months ago with the Omicron infections. Now it's stealth Omicron is BA2 variant right now. And there could be additional variants, like there's a new one in the UK that I also saw. But that one's like kind of on the watch list for the CDC right now. So again, what we're looking at, Pfizer, just try to get support resistance, and as well we're talking about trend. So on our daily, yes, we could look at EMAs. Okay, it's still holding. It's not death cross. So, these vaccine companies are important, but it's a very old play, right? It's 2 years old. Everything's basically been priced into the market already for these. Like, you have to think about what else could Pfizer do right now that's going to bullishly pump up their stock right now. It has to do something, right? Unless they invented some kind of 3-day treatment, antiviral pill or something, or maybe something else for some other disease treatment, right? So that's like more biotech mentality, but in place. But it is at holding this trendline support. So just technically, the bearish support, so 47.31 to downside if it's bad earnings for whatever reason, 45, $42, 40. Are the bear downside targets. It's still holding that trend line. The resistance are 51.25, 53 at $55. And if you've been following some of these COVID companies, we would know that yes, some of the testing demand for test kits has gone down. So that as well for vaccines, if you've been reading the news for about a month, there's a little bit less people getting vaccinated, a little less people buying test kits because Omicron mentally has passed for some people, for most people. So watch out for that on Pfizer. Let's just take a quick look at Moderna. Moderna's been in the downtrend, and again, it's just, I mean, Moderna started at like $20, $30, right? Long time ago, right before the pandemic started. So it was $20. I still remember that. So again, on the weekly though, what is this? What is this pattern? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Monthly potential head and shoulders if this breaks bear. Because there is some kind of mentality right now that the pandemic is over. It might be true, right? Who knows? If this is the end of the pandemic, then fantastic. But for stocks, that would mean it's probably going to come down a lot, right? The pandemic rally is basically over. If COVID is over, then the stock market rally might also be over because the government changes. If this really happens, it's be catastrophic for Moderna. If this plays out, it would basically go back down to $20, right? The 150% is kind of unreasonable target. But if we use Fibonacci, do the all-time price, wow, we already lost the 618, so 786 definitely in order, at least the 117 or the 95 or the 100 or the 75 range could happen for Moderna if, from one perspective, okay, if COVID-19 continues to decrease and the variants continue to not become problematic, then less people are going to get vaccines. Then this company, therefore, would make less sales, less money, less demand, and the stock price will fall. Moderna came out of nowhere. They're like the underdog story of the vaccine plays. So just watch out for that. But if we have the, again, this it's for if they had amazing blowout sales, because again, don't take everything I'm saying with the 100% authenticity in terms of, or with the 100% accuracy, because it's an analyst's opinion. So if they have fantastic sales because of Omicron, right? This potential upside down head and shoulders is actually here as well, right? So it could be incredible bounce if it's going to be extremely bullish for whatever reason. The resistance is up here at 36, 40%, 45% to the upside. If it's going to be bullish reaction, that's a big if. All right, so watch out for that. Moderna, very interesting. Let's do a couple more, and then we'll just move on to crypto. Starbucks, right? It's just a personal theory of mine. People are starting to go out a little more. You can kind of feel it online, on internet forums, on people. Like I hear people traveling a little bit more. Airline ticket sales have been up, or at least the searches for airline sales for this summer have been up based upon some search data companies that I've read about. And then just knowing, like socially, people are starting to go out a little more. And so I'm just presuming some of those people are buying coffee. Some of them, not all of them. Starbucks has their own internal problems, right, with the whole CEO and the CFO, the CEO issue. But again, here's a easy case in point that when support is lost and you have a double top, let's just check the weekly here. Right here, head and shoulders on the weekly. Little dirty one, but it's basically psychologically there. Once we lost the support line, measure this move, 20% to the downside. How low do we go? 30%. So if this thing's gonna go 2 times the target, the immediate support for the big investor is $63 down here. Then we could bring our Fibonacci, which I like to do, and then see that, okay, another 618 loss, right? It's very suspicious in the market right now. But Starbucks has their earnings coming up. So it's right here on Tuesday afternoon, apparently. So watch out for that. It's still in a daily downtrend. So there's a bearish bias on this stock already. Look, seeking out its lower low in the price to the downside. Watch out for it. Watch out for it. Right? Very interesting. Again, I'm not going to try to predict the earnings. Too many factors going on here. But from what I learned about earnings is, again, I'm just saying the opinion about Starbucks and people going out. That's just an observation right now, right? That has nothing to do with the actual internal corporate financials. What I'm saying about people going out actually has to do more about COVID vaccines and vaccination rates and infection rates, not really about Starbucks itself. So bullish reaction if it happens, $79, resistance $81, $84, $87 to the upside. Watch out for that. But again, is it uptrending? Just if we're very honest with ourselves and not getting over obsessive about indicators, is this stock uptrending or is it downtrending or consolidating? That's the pop quiz for today. For anyone wanting to learn technical analysis, this is a question for you. Is the blue circle, is the price in the white, is it downtrending, uptrending, or consolidating sideways? This is a wonderful chart to study. Same thing with Netflix, same thing with PayPal. Wonderful charts to study and test your indicators. Back test it. I love doing that on my free time when I want to get into it, right? The answer is it's downtrending on a day chart. Why? Because the angle of the price is going down. You have lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. Boom, textbook downtrend. Uptrend would be the inverse of that. It's an upstairs pattern. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and it's going upstairs like that. Consolidation is sideways, stuck between a trading range of price, at least 2 touch points, right? So this went from uptrend to consolidation to downtrend. If you know Wyckoff theory, accumulation, markup, distribution, markdown, capitulation. It's all coming true. It's all coming true. Okay, eBay, let's check out what's going here. eBay. Interesting bounce. Yes, we did that trade. That was a nice trade. That's over now, though. So eBay as well, it's been in the downtrend since November 2021, correlated with the Federal Reserve tapering program. That's why I kept telling people about that for like 3 months straight, since the summer. Federal Reserve tapering program, stocks go down. That's exactly what happened. All right, so here we are testing the 50%, and we just lost that support range, and now we're looking for more downside here at the 618 area. Do we have a monthly double top? There it is, right? If we're paying attention to our monthly chart, that's the that's the most perfect double top I've ever seen for eBay. It's literally, that's like some kind of bot algorithm action right here. I mean, you have to zoom in, it's not perfect, but it still looks perfect. It's kind of funny to me, it's ironic. What kind of beautiful double top is this, right? So weekly, so you can't even see it on weekly. On monthly, so wow, that's very obvious. Watch out for that. Weekly, it was more about, okay, the trend line loss, and we lost that, and then it just nonstop downtrend. So for eBay, again, are people buying some things on eBay and buying and selling? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. But again, eBay was trying to, on this bull rally on the March 14, trying to rally and backtest. That's why on some of these, I'm not giving them hope that we might have a bull bounce because it's backtesting the support range. Sometimes if it's bullish, it'll just bounce to the upside. That's a setup. This wedge, this happens on Bitcoin a lot. So if you, this also applies to crypto as well, right? You have the overreaction to the downside, then you have the bullish reaction, the retest, and maybe a trend change if it's going to happen this year or not. Right? So just watch out for that. The Federal Reserve meeting is kind of a big deal on Wednesday as well. So eBay has to have blowout earnings to hold the support level of 5184, 5162, and then try to bounce up. What are the targets to the upside? $54, $55, $58, $59, right? Watch out for that if it's going to bounce. But the bearish reaction, if it's going to crash on bad earnings, immediate support $50 even. We go a little bit more down, 49.1740. I'm looking left to find my support, going down 46.83, 45.61, and then right into the 618 zone where it's probably there's value, right? So if I'm looking for value, I'm already targeting right here for bulls. It'd be nice if it goes down to 45.50, 45.60. I might try to take a bull swing trade right there if it's going to be good. If not, right, just short that thing down. It's not hard. But when I say short it is, here's a good moment to talk about risk to reward, because if I'm just looking at this one candle right now, what's the risk? 5% stop loss, but if it's going to go down, it has to go down at least 10% to make a worthwhile trade. Can it go down that much? It could, because if you look at what's the volatility just here, you could see it in a week. It could happen this week. Right? This or the inverse of this could happen in a week. 10%, 5 to 10% volatility. So watch out for that on eBay. Let me do one more that I forgot about. I forgot about Tesla. Because we have Uber and Lyft earnings coming up this week, that might shake up a little bit of the car companies, right? So let's just take a quick look at Uber. I'm going to go a little longer today, so if you have to go, feel free to go. Thank you for joining. Again, these are swing trading, more investing, so it's a longer term setup, so we're not going to miss anything in one day usually. All right, so look at Uber, the IPO, or the pandemic, from the IPO to the pandemic low to the pandemic high. Again, another case study that I like to think about of uptrend, consolidation sideways to downtrend. This is one of the reasons technical analysis is so powerful on day charts, because if I'm only looking at a watch list like on my phone, with this little tiny piece of charts that you see like on smartphones and things like that, I am not seeing the whole big picture as a trader. But once I use TradingView charts, which I love and highly recommend, is you could see, I can look at the entire life of Uber from IPO start date, public IPO start date till now. Interesting on this monthly chart, right? I'm looking at the entire range, so it's kind of skewed towards that. But on the weekly, right, I'm looking for large patterns. So this could take 6 months to develop, right? Because if you think about it, it's just in a downward sloping channel, basically. On a weekly, this thing is a downward sloping channel. So it's been bearish for 4 months. What I'm looking for, though, is I'm looking for the big reversal patterns like this, something like that. But who knows? If we go into recession, this thing crashes down to $5 or $10, I would love to buy that, assuming the company is actually still legitimate and good. But again, we're in that 618 zone. That's why it's very interesting. So the immediate support is $30, $28, $26, $25, right there. Looking just quick support levels. One intermediate here, here, and there's one more down here at 22, but I'm not going to draw that. The resistance levels to the top side, $34.50, $37.23, $40. That's probably the only ones we need to really think about right now. But again, right now on this earnings, there's the two cases, just like the stock we were looking at before, just like eBay, is, are we going to establish, there's two ways to think about this. If we have good earnings, the whole market is going to go up. Not just one company, I'm saying if the market bull rallies, then we could have a higher low right here on our 30.44 and then totally bounce up to 36.6 or higher, like $36 or $43, I mean. Like this. A trend change out of here, because it's been in a downtrend channel for a long time. So at some point, it will maybe bounce out of there. That's the one bullish scenario. But if not, it's a breakdown of support, and then get that lower low. Right? So is it at the perfect support level? No, it's not. That's why swing trading is a little bit more difficult right now for earnings. So I recommend wait after the earnings. Then it'll be very clear. Okay, so with that one, let's take a quick look at Tesla. Because Tesla, actually I should do Twitter as well, because Tesla and Twitter, it's Elon Musk, right? So the day chart, what am I staring at? Let's look at a monthly. So the issue with Tesla, besides all the fundamental changes that's happening right now, is even here on a line chart, you could see we established that lower high, right? Elon Musk started selling here at like 1250 range, 1240, 1200. And then we hit the lower high resistance, 1081, right? But on the monthly, it's right here at a potential double bottom. So this is a critical level of support, this 870, where we are exactly right now, right? Because there's not much support until we go down to $800 or 793. So very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's get a big Fibonacci from the pandemic low right here, 2020. I'm looking at a monthly chart to our pandemic high of November 2021. We lost it 236 to 382, 784. So that could be the next bearish target down. It's tested there multiple times, right? The second bearish target, 661. Weekly, it was attempting a trend change. That's why. It was attempting this March 14 or the February 28th bull rally, but then it's fading down from that. So again, is this going to be a weekly upside down head and shoulders? Question mark. That we need to rally. If it's going to happen, it needs to happen very soon. Basically in this month, it needs to do that if it's going to happen. The majority market, the big money players will decide that. But if we lose that, if we start losing the support, 800 is game over, and it's not going to do that. It would be probably this setup could happen. I'm talking big ranges here, okay? I'm not talking micro day trading. But again, we haven't seen a double bottom for 2 months. Are we super oversold on Tesla? The 4-hour did get this low, a little bit of bullish momentum forming. Very suspicious. It's not extreme, but we could get a bounce. There's also a case, though, that we could also pull back as well. So it's not extremely oversold to the point where I say, yes, we're going to get 100% bounce. But some of this momentum here, right? You got 15-minute bullish momentum. Excuse me. You have a 1-hour price uptrend. You have 4-hour potential upside down and shoulders, just like Apple. That's why very suspicious. You draw intermediate Fibonacci. I mean, bounce up that 786 right under the 618. This thing, if it's going to go bull for whatever reason, 8%. If that goes 8%, that's a lot for Tesla. 8% brings us back to 979, or probably going to stop at 946 on the bull target up here. But if we crash down in a larger, both could happen. It could bounce up to make the lower high and then also make a lower low. So it just depends on what side the trader's on and what side the big money players are going to play. Always be prepared for downside. 855, 831, 808, 800. Probably don't have to, and then 759. Probably don't have to talk about more than that. I'm going to just draw this trend line for tomorrow morning. Right there. Custom draw one like this. That would make sense too. But this one was interesting. It kind of marked an inflection point like this under the downward wedge. Interesting. Tesla. All right. So unless anybody has a particular request, there's like 12 people. Thank you for joining. You feel free to type it. I might do a couple requests after I do some crypto, and then if somebody has some questions or something, I'll open up for just a couple questions. And then we'll close out for this week and see if everybody can have some good trading and investing this year. All right, let's go to crypto total market cap, and then we'll do some requests if there are any of them. Total market cap. All right, so now we'll switch gears. Now I'm thinking about cryptocurrencies. Again, there is some relationship between crypto and QQQ, right? Because if you look at total, thanks so much for watching and joining. I really appreciate it. If you look at total crypto market cap, we just let me highlight this. April 1, 2022, where I sold all my coins right here. Why? Because this is not good. When you see this type of thing, this is like that Amazon BART pattern right here in the box. That's actually a double top on the daily, right? But it's just, that looks like bought algorithmic selling. That's not normal. That's like 9 days of resistance. So that to me, at the resistance top trend line, I'm thinking from experience as a trader, swing trader, I'm saying I'm not holding through that. Also, earnings was about to start. So if we look at April, what is it? April 1, right? And if we rewind to QQQ, where's April 1? Right here. So there's a huge correlation right now between crypto and tech stocks. So if tech stocks keep crashing, then crypto will probably crash as well. Okay, so total, watch out for that. Now, why am I drawing this so many lines is we want to watch out for the loss of the support where we just lost right now. This trend line support. This needed to hold, right? This kind of a major trend line. Let me just erase this. We did not hit our bull target of 2 trillion, so that's crypto. But now the question is, we need to hold above 1.65 trillion, 1.6 trillion. We gotta watch out for this, right? Because if you are a hodler or if you're an investor, you know, okay, if you've been in the game of crypto for more than a couple years, right? We know a lot of crypto right now, it was so cheap 2 years ago, 4 years ago, etc. Beyond that, right? It's just everybody right now is who bought right now is trying to hodl. Got to be careful because it's at the top of the range, right? Wyckoff theory is there was the accumulation period down here, markup. This to me is a period of distribution, in my opinion. Okay, this is just personal opinion, not financial advice. Why? Because are we going up? No, it could be just consolidation too, but you know, some people might be wanting to trim their position, right? Because if they're predicting that stock, but if there's going to be a recession or something like that, then you know, crypto's probably not going to hold up through that. Well, because even in the COVID crash, I mean, crypto crashed like negative 50% right here. So the entire market, that was not good for the market. But if somebody's trying to invest, that was phenomenal. It's fantastic. So we're trying to hold this support level, which we just lost. But again, it's Sunday right now in USA. It is, Australia's not even up and awake right now for trading. Asia's not awake. So this analysis, take it with a little grain of salt, right? You want to see what the market's going to do this week before we really take an angle on this. Are we extremely oversold on daily? No, we're not yet. Kind of on the medium side of RSI on the monthly. Now on the weekly though, I'm trying to think about this for this weekend is what is the market trying to do? We tried to double bottom. We tried to double bottom here and bounce, just like stocks. But then we crashed back down to a support level. Okay, so somebody's still bullish about crypto. Okay, this could eventually could become a triple bottom at 1.7 trillion, potential upside down head and shoulders, and then actually rally. That is one possibility, although the chances of that a little bit less than bearish scenario. Bearish scenario would be this is our lower high, and then we're going to make a lower low down here, 1.25 trillion. Because if we retest this, which we might, the day traders might try to bounce this thing up to 1.7 trillion and then try to pull it back down. So watch out for that. Let me go to Bitcoin so you get some actual numbers. Yes. So now all the crypto traders, right? Possible reaccumulation, yes. Possibly looks like upside down. It's not a head and shoulder because that's bearish. Upside down head and shoulder, right? This was a head and shoulders, basically. This could be an upside down head and shoulders. It's not perfect though. This is it. The head. This is not this. It's not really upside down head and shoulders for textbook. It's just triple bottom, the support level, right? But then zoom out and understand that how high are we though? People were trying to play this bounce, which I did. I made 50% on VeChain Thor trade. I exactly played that and I sold it, right? So now I'm looking for, well, where's the support level going to be? If it's not here, I do not want to buy here as a swing trader investor. I don't want to buy here. If it's going to crash more, I don't want to buy here. No point. I want to sell there if I could, right? So the weekly 50% is 1.52 trillion. The 618 is down here 1.18. Again, we try to maintain a consolidation uptrend, but weekly is looking for some consolidation right now. All right, let's go to Bitcoin futures and check things out here. Bitcoin futures, similar charts, so I'll just erase it. Bitcoin futures is very important because this is where the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, trades. Great question. Do I use indicators? Yes, I do use indicators. I don't really show it a lot because then people start focusing on the indicators and not the price. On my streams, I focus a lot on the price because I believe this is the most important thing to think about, because even with no indicators, this is the trick. This is the hardest thing with investing, is even with no indicators, I can still be profitable. It's harder, a little harder, but you could still see, right? How do I know how to sell here at 65,000, 64,000 Bitcoin and not sell through here? Well, first experience and studying the charts, but knowing that this is a head and shoulders or a bar pattern, right? Up here, it's in like a weekly, there's a head and shoulders, right? This is just consolidation. This is just consolidation. We had a ascending triangle, or ascending triangle like this, or just uptrend, right, on Bitcoin, right? So I knew how to sell here, I knew how to sell here. Why? Because just double top is the price. But if you wanted to add in some like RSI and stuff like that, then yes, okay. When we had this bullish this bearish momentum loss, I sold. But then the reason why I don't like to show indicators a lot is because people start trading the indicators and not the actual price. That's why. Right? So, but again, I most definitely use indicators when I trade. Investing is a different story. So with Bitcoin, let's take the pandemic low as our low support level, and then we go to our pandemic high on the close. You can see we're just holding above the 50%. If we lose this 50% range, the $57,000, the 35, excuse me, if we lose 35,000, 37,000, then you can see here, if this is our lower high, that is not a good sign. Lower low would be 27,000, it's probably 25,000 psychological. If it's really bad, 20,000. If it's really bad, 20,000. So you just have to watch out for that, because there are a bunch of trend lines here. Might have to readjust this one. Okay, somebody could make the argument, if you're using wicks, that wait a second, we are testing the, there's like a bottom wick here, so there's still room to go down. If I look at it like this, wait a second, there's plenty of room to go down to 36K. Pull back, there's a gap space there. But the bullish outlook for Bitcoin is, if this thing holds, which it has been holding, actually okay, right? Bitcoin didn't crash down to $10,000 just because stock market earnings going down, right? We need to hold this. The upper $36,000, okay? Hold that through all this bad corporate earnings and whatnot. And then if the stock market recovers, if everything recovers, if people start getting discretionary income that they're able to spend and invest back into crypto more than normal, oh, definitely, this could rise. Okay, so let me just give some quick bearish targets and bullish targets, and we'll just move on. So bearish targets, 36,400. Now I'm going to use my gray lines. Right, I do TA here, I do technical analysis here, as probably you are doing too. For me though, I just know my process. I know my process, I know my strategies, I know what works in the market, so I just do that, to be honest. Because crypto is basically 24/7, so if something's going to show up on the charts, or something news-based going to flow on the news feed, that's going to influence the charts. But the reason why I've been able to be more profitable in crypto trading than, I would say, not doing any strategy at all, is I listen to the price. The price tells me exactly what I need to do here. So with that in mind, okay, 36,509.5 is support, 34,190 support, 32,709 support. Also have a $30,000 support, and then our 618 Fibonacci level of like a 28,000 down here. These are all support levels to the downside that we can see, right? Were you talking about this head and shoulders? It's possible, right? I was looking more at the larger structure like this, these two yellow boxes, right? So definitely, if this is kind of turning to like a rising channel or rising wedge, and then if we lose this support is going straight downside to those targets. But the inverse is also true. If we're going to find our relative bottom right here at 37K or 38K, phenomenal, fantastic. Then we rally to 40,000, 42, 44, and maybe even 50 if it's good. All right, so just give a quick example of indicators. Now, let me just hide the drawings. If somebody's going to use indicators, let's say for crypto, let me bring up like actual Bitcoin. Let's use Kraken because it's a clean exchange chart. I don't use Kraken at all right now. So let's use, like if I look at a daily chart like this, okay, it's daily death cross. That's one bad sign, okay, that a potential bear trend is starting. So even without using RSI or MACD, once I saw that, I knew, okay, just stay out of the market for a while. I haven't touched crypto for a little bit. Right, this uptrend that was forming is over now. It's now a downtrend on a day. Excuse me, on a 4-hour chart. On a daily, we death crossed way back here in January. Let me make that clear. I've been talking about this for a while. January we death crossed, so I did not touch crypto here until I saw maybe we hit this. I talked about this right here, this upside down head and shoulders here. That's one nice little bullish indicator you could use, or MACD, little histogram right here, or the EMAs, right? It's starting to uptrend. Okay, great. Or if you just use price right here, it went from downtrend to an uptrend, holding the support line, draw some trend lines. Okay, here we go. And then buy this and made some money right here on 50%. That's what I'm saying, right? So you could do that. Or if you're doing swing trading, I know a lot of people here, they like to do oversold strategy. So on crypto though, just be aware of that, because sometimes the first RSI doesn't always work. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, because this thing is overwhelmingly in a downtrend. The 4-hour EMAs are confirming that right now. It's overwhelmingly bearish. So I need to see very, very strong support on the downside on this price for me to say, oh, actually we maybe bottomed out and then I want to buy some more crypto. But for me, because I'm a USA crypto trader, I'm hands off right now. Even that Doge pump that happened last week, I didn't even touch that because I knew we're in a bear market. It's probably a dead cat bounce. What am I talking about? It's all related, right? You just had whipsaw trading. One day green, the next day red. It's pointless trade. Unless somebody day traded that and made money on that, right? Yes. So that's an advanced like secret tip if you're asking about indicators, because if we know how the RSI is calculated, like right here, we look at some of the source code. Okay, should be real. Oh no, let me add another. Well, if you just look at TradingView, like the help desk, or on Google, because we know the RSI is calculated from the price, usually on a 14-day period, right? Let me try to bring this open, because this is why TradingView is awesome, right? I just brought up the natural RSI, the new one with the EMA. Now we can open up the Pine editor, and even if I don't, this is getting way more advanced than probably usual, but I like to nerd out about this stuff once in a while. Like I remember when I was first starting, I'm like, what is this thing I'm looking at? What is the relative strength index? I'll recommend TradingView, help desk, or the Google definition first, but then when I start to look at the code, I said, what is this? Okay, it's looking at the price format. Okay, it's using these are the types of the moving average you can see, right? If you know basic, I know like very basic coding, so I understand, okay, this is some kind of like, these are the variables or something, right? So the simple moving average, there's different types of EMAs, the weighted moving average, volume weighted moving average, that's not really that important. But then it's what is the RSI length input? What's the input to the date 14 days, right? You don't need to get all crazy about it, but it's just like understanding, okay, what is the RSI? So if it's derivative of the price, therefore, sometimes price patterns also do work. Like you'll see double tops, you'll see head and shoulders here, right? You'll see double bottoms, you'll see a double top here, and it corresponds to some kind of double top on the price as well, right? So that's why. But that's very trading strat. It's really for investing. I mean, RSI sometimes doesn't help that much, except for extremes. Like on Dogecoin, how did I know 65 cent right here was going to be the top. Because if you know RSI on a weekly, this is screaming at me at the charts to get out of this stock, or the crypto. If you know indicators, right? So that's what I'm saying. If you study the charts enough, you'll find the patterns. You'll find it just on evidence-based alone. On some of these, what I call the meme plays, like Dogecoin or AMC, it's all there. Okay. All right. Somebody has a question about ApeCoin. Okay, ApeCoin. Let's take a look at it. ApeCoin on Binance. All right, so I'm gonna use Binance USA, and again, I've already charted this one before. So what we want to watch out for is ApeCoin. Okay, has quite a bit of volume here on the trading view, right? On a daily chart, okay, great. The EMAs, it's right here testing this 26 EMA at 1557. But again, it's an altcoin and it is generally correlated. Actually, this one was not correlated. Or it is, excuse me. I need to find the dates. Let me find the dates before I speak. Because April 1st, what was that? That was the top of Bitcoin, that double top area, right? So right here as well, April 1st, what happened to ApeCoin? Pullback. And then let's just check this date. April 28th. What is this? This might not be correlated. Let's just check. April 27 or 28. Did that happen on Bitcoin? Close enough, right? Bitcoin had a little bit of rally and then we pulled back. So on ApeCoin, what happened? Had the rally and then pulled back. So ApeCoin is definitely correlated with Bitcoin to a certain degree. So therefore, whatever Bitcoin will do, it will have some effect on Ape. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, Ape right now, potential daily head and shoulders just looking at it just for 5 seconds right here. Potential daily head and shoulders. Okay, what's the measured move here to the downside? 25% to downside. If it's going to go 25% to downside, what is that? 1430. If it goes 50% to downside, if you have a market crash, going down to 945. Maybe the midpoint as well, 1172. Just throw that in there for midpoint support, right? It is holding this EMA, so it's holding above the 200 EMA, but it's still in the downtrend, right? But again, if somebody's trading, okay, we have the 1 hour, we had the 1 hour oversold balance, so I'll be watching this, right? 15 minutes not oversold, 5 minutes not oversold either. So we could get a little bit more pullback on these coins before trying to get a trend change bounce. This reminds me of tech stocks right now. It's so correlated. That's why we, apply the TA to all assets and you'll find the same patterns because there's correlations, right? This is almost like that QQQ. If we can hold the higher low here, we could see a bounce. But if we lose it, we're going to test the support, just like AMD, just like Apple, just like Tesla, eBay, etc., etc. Bitcoin itself, and now ApeCoin, right? Bitcoin went a little bit lower, but it's Bitcoin, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? If you just kind of zoom out, I'm talking about this bigger 1 hour, 4 hour type of action, right? But the same psychology patterns is happening over and over again. ApeCoin is definitely more volatile right here. You can see on the 5 minute we had upside down head and shoulders about 7 hours ago, right? Nice little day trade. If somebody's really, really aggressively trying to trade, I mean, that's the setup right there. Oversold, you get an upside down head and shoulders, MACD momentum, boom, there you go, right? 3 to 6%, you hit that 6% exactly and you get out of that trade. Yes, when I say correlations, right, because you have to understand who controls the market. It's the market makers, yes, and there's whales, but it's for trading, it's the market makers. Meaning the hedge funds, the institutions, the exchange itself, which is providing liquidity for traders. And then there's short positions, there's futures, there's some options, but there's mainly futures trading like on Binance, international.com exchange. Bots and algorithms. Right? So once you understand what the market is 80% algorithmic trading, meaning it's some $1 million or some $1 billion hedge fund institution running their complex programs and algorithms to trade the market. That's exactly what they're doing. They have more money. They have more, basically, quote unquote, power, buying power in the market. That's who we're up against as we're trading. So there could be fundamental news as well. But again, crypto is very, very technical chart based. So if there's some kind of bearish setup, it's going to probably go bearish, and then the algos, the algorithms are just going to smash the price as low as it can go, right? But this 1 hour for APE, all I'm going to say is for like probably like every single altcoin, similar unless something extreme is happening, is will the support hold? That's all that really matters. If you're trying to trade $16, $16.51, if there's some kind of news pump or something like that, then it'll just rally. Or if there's bearish news, it'll fall. But is it relative? Because if you look at this chart, APE was here at $27 a couple days ago, and now the lower high was formed. This is the lower low zone. If it can hold this lower low zone, we will see a bounce up to 1866. That was a nice trade. For crypto, that'd be a very nice trade. That'll be like a 10% range, right? So if somebody's trying to do this educational example, is okay, there's like a 5% or maybe 6%, and there's 12% opportunity here to the upside of small amount of capital though. And again, it's ApeCoin, right? So again, if we Fibonacci the move, it's probably, this looks like what, like holding the 50% range approximately. Let's check. Just estimating. No, it's holding 618. So again, just like tech stocks, it's all so suspicious right now. Everything's at the 618 level. So the question for this week is, are we going to get this bounce or not? Right? Because if aggressive traders might be already eyeballing this, saying, this is very interesting. Plus upside down in the shoulders, 10% range. Okay, very interesting. Right? So just watch out for that. If it's going to bounce, basically we're finding it right now. This is the potential setup for educational purposes, right? For day trading or for like short-term swing trading. For investing though, this is setup too, bouncing off this 26. Okay, great. Great. 26 EMA, fantastic. All right, let's take a look at some of these other coins though. We don't want to get too tunnel vision on one coin. All right, so I'll just look at maybe the 1 hour for people. Let's take a look here. Maker in its downtrend, but see how low can it go before it bounces? That's the real question. Support right at the 1272 range on my chart. Ethereum is not extremely oversold, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of these cryptos, like the major cryptos, have one big flush down and then bounce, right? So buying right here might not be the safest thing to do, because you could see, even though it's close to the EMA, the RSI was much lower on April 25. That's what I'm looking for. If you're a crypto trader, just kind of look for like the lowest low possible and then try there. With a small amount of capital, the stop loss, and then you have a higher chance of actually winning. So Bitcoin Cash already had its flush down in the intraday a couple of days ago. That's what I'm talking about. A big flush down on probably 5 minute, 1 minute, and then you have the bounce in the 24 hours. But is it really low price right now? No. The only question is, are we going to trend change up out of here? That's a different story. Binance Coin, we already had this flush down. Let me see what time this was. Right here, for me, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning, April 30th. So this is bots. This is algorithm trading. They're saying, oh, the market makers know, oh, we got some stop losses down here. Let's just crush all the stop losses, crush them. Take all the money, meaning buy back all the stops and then rally for profit. That's the exact algorithm they're using. So watch out for that. Once you start the market, and there's some other tools out there too, so you can see if it identifies bot trading on the level 2. There's like YouTube videos about it as well. There's a lot of secrets out there. So that's because the level 2 cannot be trusted. For crypto, it cannot be trusted. The price action, this level 2 thing that's going on, because a lot of the orders just bot orders. It's a secret in the industry. All right, comp USD. Comp USD, interesting. This one isn't kind of that 4 hour low range, just like right here. Lower low, lower high, boom, lower low. So now how low can it go? 98, 100 immediate support, 97.50, 94, right? Hopefully it could bottom out here, nice for bull traders, and then get a nice bounce going on. It could happen in the next couple of days. Some of these major coins, though, like the big majors, they're not so as oversold. Let's take a quick look at Shiba Inu. We did have that flush again, all at the same time, that 4 a.m. flush. April 30, let's see, was that Friday? That was Wednesday. Okay, there's still, yeah. So basically that happened pre-market. That's correlated with stocks, the Bitcoin crash. Because QQQ is probably falling, and so therefore all cryptos are getting shorted. That bots and algorithms are programmed to do that. Watch out for that. The 1 hour, though, it's trying to climb back. It's trying to climb back. Should be, you know, trying to maintain an uptrend. So it needs to hold this support above 2091. We draw the trend line. See, right there. Trying to hold that. If it doesn't, then it's a big trouble. All this downside. So watch out for that. Is it oversold right now? No, it's not on a 1 hour. That's why timing is everything in crypto trading. So I'm talking about like swing trading or possibly even day trading right now. I'm not talking about investing right now. Using some of these indicators. Just try to get the lowest low price possible. Zcash is not really that low, so I'm not really looking at it unless I'm looking for support levels way down here at 110. EGLD is testing its bottom range. See if that's going to hold or break. Day trader is going to have a little, even right now, 5-minute strategy in play, right? A little 5-minute bounce happening right now, but the hourly is not that as oversold. Zencash kind of holding its higher lows. See if he's trying to make a 1 hour trend change. If that happens, very nice for some of these coins. 6% to the upside, 3% downside. Ethereum Classic had a little bit of bounce here. Let's just see if the trend change is possible or not. Gonna have to check this every hour. Next couple of days. So Solana, this is probably why my alert was flashing. It was probably at this $87 range. We already had a nice like 5-minute pump, and then the shorts bringing things down back under control. I think a zoom out though, because I don't want to just give people a short-term perspective, is you could see here on Solana, for example, there is the support range right here above $80, all the way down to about $76. So just like we talked about Bitcoin, if we can hold the support, that would be very good, and try to get a lower high bounce in here, which would be green. If that happens for stocks, phenomenal, great. We kind of need that, right? Is this going to turn into a weekly upside down head and shoulders on Solana? It would be nice, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm not giving up on crypto completely. It's just if it's bearish, let it happen. And then if this is going to turn to a weekly upside down head and shoulders, which is bullish, we're going to have phenomenal. We could have a phenomenal rally on all coins. It depends on what time frame we're talking about, though, right? So if I zoom in a lot for like a day trader, I'm not going to see the giant upside down head and shoulders. You got to zoom out and say, wait a second, we're all the way up here, but it's trying to find support. It's trying to find support, but it's just happens to be support at 5,000% higher, right? Because crypto is Solana. So just watch out for that. If it's going to happen, it happens. But if it doesn't, no big deal, really. It's just crypto. Right? It's in the 618. That's what I'm saying. So suspicious. Everything suspicious right now. That's why I'm keeping my mind open, because I know a lot of people are so bearish right now, but sometimes when the entire world is bearish, there's no more sellers left, and then they're going to get short squeezed. That's why I'm on my toes for that. I've experienced in the market. One of these days, it's going to be a gigantic short squeeze one of these days. All right, so Chainlink, just exploring its lower low. It is a little oversold. So Chainlink, very interesting on the 4 hour, right? The day traders is not very oversold yet, but it's getting there. I'm not going to do every single coin, but you kind of get the idea, right? Coin, basically, the too long didn't read. The summary is all coins and Bitcoin is downtrending for the time being, but if we can find and hold a support bottom, we could see a bounce. And there could be some very interesting trades and profitable trades for people if they manage the trade money properly. right? See, lower low on Uni, lower low on Augur. Waves is different because waves, what did I see on waves? What do we see here? What is that? So we had this right here, double bottom. Bullish overreaction on waves. Beautiful. Could be news as well, but for me, all I need is a TA. Adam making a slower low. This was concerning for Adam, right? You had this kind of larger triangle and then we lost the support. So now it's just in a free fall. So timing it though, so the problem is what kind of trade are we trying to do as a trader? Am I trying to do a day trade? Am I trying to, for one day only? Am I trying to do a swing trade for a couple of days or a week? Am I trying to hodl invest? Am I trying to invest for a year or am I trying to hodl for 10 years? What's the play? Like, what am I doing? That's just something as a trader that I need to think about. Am I bull? Am I bear bias? Like, what's going on, right? So 61A, what is this thing, right? So there's a lot of things to think about right now if you're doing technical analysis. We are here though. So a little bit of bullish momentum forming on this Cosmos chart. Very interesting here. Get to see this might be a tight stop loss of 5%. I might have to check the ATR for a second. Just one of the tools here. Just give some people some decent numbers. RSC, it's 5 cents. So on the 4 hour, the average ATR 3.72%. It's about 4%. So actually maybe it needs to be a little larger than that. Could even drop down 8% if it's really bad. So then the target would have to be 16%, which is not unusual for crypto because on the daily chart, that would be the range where it sets its lower high, right? But the problem is there's a saying in Wall Street, we do not want to catch a falling knife. A falling knife is just a lot of red in the market, and that's what this is basically, right? So until I see a support pattern like this, or upside down in the shoulders, or just kind of hold here, then you might see it. It might do this and then that, like in crypto. Because this is what I'm saying. If you just study the price, just turn everything off and just sit in front of this chart for a couple minutes and just understand, like, okay, when this, let me erase it now. When this leg down happened, what was the signal for the reversal on price alone? There was a support double bottom or a sideways upside down head and shoulders. On Fibonacci, it was the 618 Fibonacci. If you want to bring in RSI, it was bullish momentum on the RSI, bullish momentum on the MACD. If you want to bring in EMAs, it was under the EMA, right? There's so many signals there. If you combine all the TA, there's like 5 signals saying that might be the spot where it's going to bottom out, and then there's fundamental news, and then boom, up. So the same thing's kind of going to apply right here. So if I'm looking at the longer term play of the weekly, okay, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, so I know it's in the lower low zone. Now the question is, how low is Cosmos going to go? Okay, so 786 is the immediate support, like 1644 or 1310 or something like that. It's somewhere in here, maybe the top of this W on the left side, 1445. Okay, then the same thing applies. All right, let's bring some EMAs or a death cross. Okay, that's different though. This bounce, there was no death cross on the EMAs. Now there is a death cross. Okay, that's different. RSI, it's pretty low, but it's on the left side here. It's not angling up. There's a little bit of momentum, but it's not completely MACD EMA crossed up here. So it might not be ready yet. That's what I'm saying. It's in the maybe zone for me as an investor, but it's not like the perfect exact second to buy right now. I could be wrong though. Like maybe I'm going to eat my words and tomorrow it's going to be 50% up or 20% up, right? It's crypto. But I'm just saying, if we're doing apples to apples indicator price comparison, it's starting its attack run, meaning it's like starting to get into the zone of maybe we're going to get a potential reversal and this might be it for bulls. Okay. So that's just kind of the basic thought process. This is more intermediate to advanced crypto and more intermediate to advanced technical analysis. It's not like TA 101, I like to say. Also, there are other streamers out there and other analysis. This is just my style, but it's a more like A little bit more conservative, but it's more profitable style. Okay. So HUT with the death cross. Again, this is death cross has never happened on some of these cryptos. So that's why I'm saying be careful of algos saying, you know what, they're just gonna short this down all the way down to nothing. And then we'll find a bottom somewhere down here when everybody quits the market entirely. People have left, but not everybody has left. I remember in March 2020, in the COVID-19, that there was like 3 days of extreme red, and even I was shocked. I wasn't extremely afraid. I was shocked. It's like, wow, this is absolutely crazy. How low can it go? That's kind of that zone where you want to buy, right? When there's maximum fear in the market and everybody quits the market. Nobody I knew wanted to buy crypto in the March 2020 at the start of the pandemic. Nobody cared about crypto, but the algos pumped in, crashed the market. I think it was like a Bitstamp short. If you read the news article, it must have been like a Bitstamp short algo that like totally crashed the market. All right, I'm going to end soon. This is going really long, but I'm giving a lot of knowledge, information, and setups and education today. So this is like an ultimate live stream. So thank you so much for joining and watching. I mean, you're getting the reward just by being here. So QTUM holding the support of the 0.88. Interesting. If you can hold it, good. If we can hold this, what am I talking about? $5 support? Very nice. But if we can't, this thing's going down. Like $3. Band seeking us lower low. This is a definition of a downtrend. Hope people realize this is downtrend. This is downtrend. Make no mistake. That is a downtrend. Right? I'm talking about just the big like weekly, monthly downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low. So then how low is it going to go? And then where we're going to bounce to. So there's still opportunities for shorts, but the ultimate short started 1 month ago. Let's go faster here. EOS holding above its support range, just below $2. Again, I'm using the Binance USA chart watch list. We almost had this upside down head and shoulders on OMG, but looks like it's going to make a lower low, maybe going down to $3. Watch out for that. Kyber. See, not every crypto is the same. Kyber. Uptrend. I mean, it's like the only one that uptrended in March. I mean, in March and April. It's phenomenal. Yes, there's probably some fundamentals, but even on TA, even if I don't know anything about TA, I mean, about news, and I do know about TA, this thing is uptrending 100%. It was. And then just long it on the way up. And now it hit the resistance zone on the top, like upper $5, and it's having some trouble there. So KNC, I'll be careful with KNC because it could pull back instantly to $3 in a matter of days, right? It could pull back to, just draw it for you, $4, $3.21, $2.68, $2. Be careful because it's in this large range here. If you draw a parallel channel, one of our trading view tools, right? The midpoint is the 200 EMA 270, so watch out for that. Tezos, different story. We had double top on Tezos 736. Hello. Good evening to our international friends. Cardano, watch out for this downtrending, right? Now the question is, how low can it go? Can we hold support at 80 cents? Or if not, we're going straight down to 61, 40, 37. Watch out for that, right? We don't want to get too bullish. It's getting there. It's saying, can we hold the support? That would be nice. But if we can't, it's bad news for crypto, whether we like to believe it or not. It's already happening. See, the problem with crypto, so I want to use MATIC as an example. And we'll look at Crow. It's somewhere on my list. But here's the problem, right? If we talk about Wyckoff theory, you could use this chart for any generic crypto because a lot of cryptos kind of look like this if they've been around for a while. You have the accumulation period, the markup, the consolidation or distribution. But like I said last week, if we keep losing support, we're going into markdown capitulation phase. Watch out for that. We already had 2 years of wonderful, or 1 to 2 years of wonderful crypto gains. If the entire stock market crashes and Bitcoin crashes, altcoins will crash too, most likely. Greater than 50% chance that's going to happen. So trying to time it here during the start of a potential recession crash is where people lose all their money, basically. This is the FOMO part. I'm not saying anybody's FOMO watching this. I'm just saying there's potential. There's a higher chance of FOMOing now than there was 1 year ago, right? Because this was relatively low price. 2020 as well, it was lower crypto price. Why did I create no FOMO charts? To try to educate people and warn them about like a Dogecoin top 65 cents, trying to buy that, and then now someone's down like 50% in their account or on that trade. Want to watch out for that, right? Just using TA, because I know there's always hyper bulls and hyper bears, and there's hodlers saying doesn't matter right now. That might be true, but at the same time, if we double top here, like on our weekly chart, or even head and shoulders, I'm just going to put this giant resistance range of $2 to $3. But if we lose this, and we have head and shoulders here, if we lose this, lose the neckline, which we just did, it could crash down negative 90%, which would take us where? Back down to 13 cents. This is the no FOMO mentality of, we already had the amazing crypto opportunity for 2021, and anyone trying to jump into the market right now is doing so in one of the most volatile stock and crypto periods of the past like 2 years. This is why I use TA and I don't listen to news that much. Because I know if we lose the support on the weekly, it's going down 77 cents, 63 cents, 37 cents. If we lose all those 24 cents, and then that 13-cent target all the way down here, all it has to do is lose the supports to start downtrending. Everyone is going to, people are going to get stopped out. People are going to sell on investment loss fear, and then the shorts are just going to go out of control and crush the market. It could happen. That's why. Watch out for it. That's why you don't see me putting a lot of crypto chart setups and stuff like that, because the time to do that was last year when I was over here, right? Or maybe here. What I'm talking about in the past like 30 minutes, those are like little swing trader, day trader setups, right? But we're not talking about, when you zoom out, you get some real perspective on the market, and it's a matter of patience and discipline. Okay, let's just end soon, because I probably did like 5 streams in one in terms of the amount of education I gave for free knowledge and information. So let's do Crow and we'll end soon. Crow, crypto.com. Again, watch out for Bitcoin, the lower low and the loss of potential support on crypto. Watch out for that. Okay, so Crows, it depends on what chart you're looking at. So let me look at a couple different ones here. I like OKX, has more information. See, some of these is very not good charts. I like Hyobi chart. You have a lot. I already did Crow here. So I like this one. Okay, so crow.com. It was in the up channel trend, and I remember somebody talking to me. We talked about it like right here, September, October, saying we drew this channel. I said the upside target is somewhere in this range, and then we hit that. We went way above it. We went to $1. I think I even said $1 is on a stream long time ago, like 6 months ago, and then we faded down back from there. This is a very old chart. So if it's going to go all the way back down to full retrace, you can see here it could go down to the lower 25 to 20 cent range. It is a huge upward channel, right? It tried to test this, not good. Okay, it lost to 618, so then where's the next place? It's 786, 24 cents. If it's going to hit that range. Now, if we're going to zoom in a little bit, just to get our immediate fib levels, 786, yeah, there's not much support here on Crow. I mean, there's 24, there's 20 cents, it's 14. I like how we're thinking about probably, okay, we think it's low enough, right? It's 68% off. Okay, good, good, good. It could bounce here. That's what I'm saying. Just keep an eye out for that because sometimes you just get a green bullish candle reversal. But again, if it's going to go a little lower, I would like to see Crow into the upper teens, like the 10s or the 15 cents. It's probably going to stop here like 25 cents and 20. But it is at a potential 618 zone, a relative 618 zone. So I just want to watch out for it. If you're talking about day trading or swing trading, yes, it is in this oversold range. It's just a matter, it just had the dump just a matter of 24 hours ago. And let me bring up a little Bollinger Band here. Sometimes I like to use Bollinger Bands. They fall out of that range, so it's a little abnormal, this crash. The question is, are we going to get the bounce? If we do, for a day trader, okay, minimum stop loss 4%, probably 8%, maybe even 60% if it's going to be a really good short squeeze rally, right? Because this, let me clean up the ATR, is if we're talking about just about day trading, pretty nice bullish setup. Interesting. Right? If we're talking about weekly though, like if somebody's trying to hodl this, is a totally different story. Investment or hodl, it's a different story, right? Because I give you the big picture. Somebody's trying to swing trade this, there's actually an opportunity here. For the daily though, it's not on its way up. So that's going to happen on the shorter term time frames first, obviously. So looking at our 5 minute, 15 minute, 5 minutes already underway. What needs to happen on a 5 minute, if you're really going to stare at this chart for a long time, is the higher low, just like tech, higher low, and then trend change out of here into the 15 minute, and that'll be in the 15 minute bounce. The 1 hour, then that would continue up and cascade upwards. Okay, so I think that's a good place to leave it at for that potential bullish setup, but always be mindful that things can always go wrong in the market. That's why we have stop loss and position sizing and risk management and never going all in and trying not to FOMO. So this is less of a FOMO play, because if somebody asked me about CRO back here, which somebody did back in the dollar range and the dollar days, I was warning people like, watch out for that. Let it come down 50 cents. And that's exactly where it happened. It bounced. Yeah, a nice huge Crow bounce. Your 50 cents, like 25%, and then bounce down again, 233%. Bounce. You had some serious momentum forming. 4 hour, 1 hour probably did get oversold. Let's check. Yes. Okay, so we're having that set up again. Now it's 29. But is it the lowest low of all time? It might not be, because if you want to try to time it perfectly, which sometimes is difficult, but you want it to be low on all these time frames. It's getting there. It's very soon. So who knows? Maybe 1, 2, 3 days from now, it's going to find its pivot low support and then bounce up, and there's an easy trade for Crow. Okay. Please keep in mind this is all educational advice. Very educational, and I think we'll just close it here because I talked about stocks, stock earnings, technical analysis, support, resistance, trend lines, candle patterns, indicators, multiple time frames, cryptocurrencies, correlations, Bitcoin, altcoins, current event, some news, stock earnings, right? So now that we have a better and bigger, that's like a very interesting tongue twister. We just have a better understanding of what's going on in the stock market in the world right now, and crypto, right? So we're a little bit better prepared for this week, going into this week, versus not doing any charts at all and just looking at a phone watch list. So with that being said, I went double the time. And if you learned something, if you like this stream, consider giving me a cheer donation here on TradingView. Would really appreciate that, or a donation on YouTube. Or if you want to follow me, go ahead and do that. Please follow me on TradingView, YouTube, Twitch. We have a free Discord group as well, where I give a free watch list of some stocks that I'm looking at. Right, this week is all earnings based for stocks. We went over some of them. Right, and again, in April, I did have 11 out of 11 profitable green trading days, so I had 100% profitability in April, which was one of my best stock trading months of the year for day trading and for shorting. So it's a phenomenal month. Phenomenal. Okay. Yes, just watch out for, if you're talking about divergence though, that's happening on this crow chart, bullish divergence happening in the shorter term time frames. It has not happened yet on the 4 hour of the daily. So watch out for that if you're trying to play longer term time frames. On the 5-minute 15, it did happen. So I'm anticipating, hopefully there's going to be some bounce on crow for everybody. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate it. Hope you have a nice week. And I will see you next week. Next week, there is a holiday in the USA. So I am probably going to stream earlier. I'm probably going to stream on Friday or Saturday. If not Friday or Saturday, so May 6, May 7, or May 9. One of those. It's either going to be May 6 or May 9 probably, now that I think about it. So just want to let everybody know that. I'll type that in my Discord as well. All right. Thanks for watching. Have a good week. Bye-bye.